Once again, Abudu drops another banger. A Sunday Affair is a movie about love and the challenges surrounding it. It is about what we wish for and what we get, and how sometimes what we get is beyond our control. As usual, we would like to remind you that this recap is not meant to replace the movie itself, nor should it stop you from watching the full movie in its entirety on Netflix. We think this is a good time to get your Netflix subscription because of the hot titles they keep dropping back to back. Also, be reminded that the recap contains heavy spoilers. If you have been with us for a while, thank you for your support. We see your comments and we love you. Shola Lagbe, we see you, bro. Thank you. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and also turning on the notification icon. So without wasting your time, let's begin. Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to the Film Village. The movie begins with two young girls on a pier in Lagos 1999. From their conversation, we can conclude that they just met because one said this is her favorite sport and she hasn't brought anyone there before. Then the scene transitioned to 2009 to let us know that they remain friends all this while. One of the girls then gestured to a guy at a distance, signaling that she won't be coming. This is to show us that nothing can come between these two ladies, not even a man. Then we transition again to 2023, where both ladies, now matured, are attending a wedding. As the priest preach about love, we can see that Uche, one of the girls, does not care about love. Rather, she prefers having an affair with whomever she finds appealing. She gets tasty at the sight of any attractive man. It was on that wedding day she first caught sight of Sunday, who also attended the wedding with his beautiful daughter and estranged wife. That night, while throwing the bouquet, Toyin initially caught it but rejected it and passed it over to Uche, who doesn't really care about marriage though. So she's not bothered that Toyin gave her the bouquet. We noticed that the mother was excited that the bouquet ended up in her hands. Later, Uche advises Toyin to try get a man at the wedding. Toyin says she is done with men. Uche says, well, then more men for her. While standing alone, a lady then approached Sunday to speak with him. His wife walks up to them, expressing her disappointment that he could not even keep it to himself, but had to make her look stupid at such occasion by flirting. She then walks away with her daughter. Uche collects a wine bottle, then approached Sunday, who without saying anything, just followed her like a lamb for slaughter. They both got into a closed space and then had sex. After that few minutes of coitus, they walked back out and introduced themselves to each other officially this time. Uche is the bride's sister and Akin is the brother of the groom who lives in the US, but in town just for the wedding. Akin is also Sunday. Uche invited Sunday over to her gallery the following day. She says by 6 p.m. and not to bring his wife. Then Toyin comes to call her for the cutting of the cake. The following day at the art gallery, Uche is getting worried, waiting for Toyin to come. Then Sam walks in. He requested for a quickie. Uche told him to come to the flats later so they can do it proper because she is presently on her way to give her welcome speech. Mr. Sam insisted, but Uche strongly refused. While giving the welcome speech, Sunday comes in, but staying at the back, Uche did not see him. As she continues with the speech, Mr. Sam interrupted her to introduce himself. It turns out he is a married sugar daddy, and on the spot, he insisted Uche show acknowledgement of his investment in her life by giving him a peck on the cheek. Uche reluctantly did. Saying that, Sunday was disappointed, and he turns back and left the gallery. That night, when she got home, Uche begins to cry, regretting what happened and how Sam made her feel like his mistress and a whore. Toyin consoles her, reminding her to be strong. Uche asks that she stay over that night, but Toyin says she cannot stay over because of her meeting with the doctor the next day. So, the following day, while on the train to Ibadan, we see Toyin thinking and watching a medical video about artificial insemination on her phone. Sunday approached. Apparently, they were both assigned neighboring seats in the train. Sunday tries to connect with Toyin. Toyin shows lack of interest. Sunday says he can see that Toyin does not like him, which Toyin replies, saying how she doesn't even know him, but she knows his type. That statement triggered Sunday, who then asked, "What is my type?" Toyin says she does not like men that cheat on their wife. Sunday says she must have gotten him mixed up with someone from her past. Well, this might be true because remember earlier that she said at the wedding that she is done with men. That is the statement of a woman who has seen shaggy. She has suffered a lot at the hands of men. Sunday's reply got her angry, and she asked if Sunday's plan is to intentionally get her angry, and if that is what he wants, she would just change her seat. Sunday says yes, that is his goal, to get her angry, and since there is no vacant seat, they are stuck together. Toyin chuckles, and Sunday claims victory. They both smile and then reintroduce themselves with a handshake. Toyin says that doesn't mean they will be friends though. When Toyin gets to the doctor's office, here we find out that she's actually there to have an IUI. She wants a baby. When she gets to the doctor's office, the doctor informed her that she has to carry out a series of tests to know if she's physically and mentally fit to have a baby. After concluding with the doctor, she goes back to the train station to return home. There, she met Sunday again. But this time, they are both stuck at the train station because reports got into them that bandits have sabotaged the train tracks. Sunday says the situation is embarrassing to him. Why? Because he is actually the consortium for the company responsible for expanding train tracks across the country. Sunday says, "We will have to spend the night here until another train comes the next morning." Toyin says, "What do you mean we? Are you also getting a room for all your passengers?" To which Sunday replied, "Only for those that don't like me." Toyin chuckles softly. That night, while having dinner together, she asked how his wife copes with him being a regular dog, cheating and all. He says what he does is none of his wife's business because they are having a divorce and she will be taking their daughter back to the United States. Toyin asked why, and he says they are getting a divorce for cultural differences. Sunday asked of her ex-husband. She says she is single, like me, Anyway, time passes and the conversation gets warmer. Then Toyin brings up the night with Uche. Sunday says they are just wedding buddies, and so far it appears Uche has many wedding buddies. He was actually referring to Mr. Sam. Toyin asked him to be nice and not speak ill of her friend. He then asked if Toyin is single. She answers yes, that she is done with men. She says because she does not want to be alone, that is why she is visiting an IUI specialist to have a baby of her own. They laughed and danced, and after a while, we see them in the elevator going to their separate room. Yes, separate room, right? In the elevator, they begin to touch, and as they were about to kiss, the elevator door opens for another couple to enter. The smart couple quickly sensed the situation, then they stayed back. They did not enter the elevator. They were like, "You are free, go on, do whatever you like, just go." Then we see them in the hallway again, going to their separate rooms, separate rooms. Well, she gets to the door, opens it, and Sunday moves closer. Right now, single people like me should just stop watching this video, Go and watch Small Children film, abeg. Far From Home is still showing on our channel. Go there and allow her dots to watch this one. Please go so we can continue. Alright, so as she opens the door, she intentionally did not just go in. Our dear, I am so done with Mel still stand there waiting for Sunday to make his move. So Sunday leans closer, and as they were about to kiss, his phone rings. If I were him, I would have just thrown the phone away. But I can't because, as I said earlier, I am single. Single like the letter W. Anyway, he picks the call, and it turns out it's his wife, saying his daughter wants to speak with him. Mr. Sunday foolishly tells Toyin to excuse him, that his wife is on the phone. That just kills the vibe, and Toyin enters and locks the door. Now, when she got back home, she told Uche about her encounter with Sunday. Uche says she heard from Femi that Sunday is getting a divorce soon, and she prefers married men anyway because there is less hassle. In the sauna, these two girls walking. Now, notice that these two girls were at the gallery the other night mocking Uche for having a sugar daddy. They even repeated those words again in the sauna. Uche gets angry and approached them for a fight. If not for Toyin, you would have seen towels flying about like, that bedroom fight scene in King of Boys. Oh, glorious. Well, Toyin denied us that privilege, but she punished the girls by locking them up and turning up the heat. Now, at home, after dinner, while standing beside his porch, Femi wants his brother, Sunday, to stay clear of Uche because she is trouble. Sunday asks him not to worry, that he has everything under control. Uche approaches and asks Sunday to join her for a drink. Sunday agreed. At the bar, Uche asks Sunday to please invest in her art, and after trying to convince him, Sunday says he would rather invest in her because he likes her. Uche gets blushy. They both went into Sunday's car for a quick sex. A quickie. Now, Toyin found Sunday's business card and she gives him a call. She says she wanted to apologize for missing dinner at Uche's place. Then she invites Sunday for a drink so she can apologize properly. While having that drink, Uche texted her to meet up for lunch. She replies that she has already had lunch. She lied. Later, she and Sunday take a walk by the beach where she tells Sunday that she lied to Uche earlier. According to her, she doesn't want to break the girl's code, and since Sunday and Uche only had a one-off at the wedding, she would be an hypocrite. Sunday says she doesn't need to feel like a hypocrite since they haven't had anything together yet. Toyin says she wants to have something with Sunday and asks Sunday to please take it slow with her. This is where things begins to get more complicated. Femi and Sunday meet up later. Femi was shocked to find out that Sunday has already had sex with Uche and also in touch with Toyin. He wants him to try to do the right thing and cut it off with both of them. Sunday promised to do just that. That night, he met with Uche at a gallery so he can tell her that it is over between them. Getting there, Uche turns on the red, put your legs on my shoulder. You remember that trend, eh? Yeah. She turns on the lights and begins to go down on Sunday, not even giving him the chance to speak. Sunday asks her to stop, that she is worth more than just sex. Uche just kept Ucheing until they had sex. Exhausted, Sunday arrives home after Uche has finished draining all his energy. While on call with Femi, he tells him how exhausted he is and that he couldn't break up with Uche that night, and then promised to first break up with Toyin the next day. Just a quick reminder, please support our channel by subscribing and liking this video. Let us get people talking about this movie. Now, they met the next day. Sunday says he has something to discuss with Toyin. Excited Toyin did not wait but kept rambling on, saying how she's now having doubts about the IUI. This means that Toyin is ready to have a man to keep her company and no longer need a baby to fill that lonely space. Hearing that, Sunday could no longer say what he wanted to say. So they went to their room and they had sex. Sunday, oh my. Few days later, while having a salsa lesson, Uche and Toyin begins to talk. They were like very excited to tell each other the latest gist. Toyin asked Uche to go first. Uche says she's seen someone. Toyin initially thought she's talking about her usual sexual escapades, but Uche says no, she is seriously seeing someone now. Toyin asks for his name. Uche says she does not want to tell her for now until she is sure that the feeling is right. When they get into the shower, Uche also asks Toyin for her own gist. Toyin says she is also seeing someone. They both make arrangements to meet each other's guy. Femi begins to coach his brother on how to be bold and tell Uche that he is no longer interested in her. At that time, Mr. Sam, Uche's sugar daddy, was writing a check for Uche. Baba wanted to get down, but Uche used my time of the month phrase to excuse herself. Mr. Sam left, and outside, Sunday was already in the car, waiting to go in. Sunday enters the gallery, and after seeing Mr. Sam exiting the gallery, he summoned the courage to tell Uche he is not ready for a relationship. He uses that "it is not your fault, it is my fault" trick. Uche gets angry and asks him to F off. Now that he has broken off with Uche, the next is Toyin. Sunday meets with Femi. He told Femi what he did is brutal and doesn't think he can do the same to Toyin. Instead, he will just ghost her. Now, Toyin keeps calling, but Sunday ignores her call, ghosting her completely. Uche returns to Mr. Sam, her sugar daddy. Toyin comes looking for Sunday to express her disappointment that after sleeping with her, he is now claiming to be busy, Sunday says he is sorry and that at the moment he can't be in a relationship. Toyin got sad. She says he shouldn't have been so cruel about it. Then she left, dejected. Toyin then calls Uche to break the news to her that a guy has broken off their relationship. At the same time, Uche is also calling Toyin to break the news to her. Toyin asks her to come over so they can talk about it over a glass of wine. The doctor then calls Toyin that night to give her an important update about the results of the test for her IUI. It appears the result was terrible because that night, when they both head to a club to have fun, Uche begins to notice something wrong with Toyin. She gets drunk and she's acting unusual. That night, Sunday couldn't find any sleep. He says he thinks he is in love with both of them, but one of them has taken more space in his head. Femi asks him which one he loves. Before he answers, we are taken back to the club. Toyin and Uche having a disagreement because Uche wants them to go home, but Toyin wants to have more fun. Obviously, she's more destroyed and devastated than Uche. While Femi is telling Sunday to open up to the one he loves more, a call comes in that Toyin is in trouble and Uche needs help with her. Sunday and Femi rushes to the club, but they couldn't find Toyin. Sunday asks Uche to go home and wait for her in case she comes home. While at it, he tells Uche that he has something important to tell her. Uche says she does not need his bullshit anymore. Sunday then tells Uche that the reason he broke up with her is because he is seeing someone else, but he is in love with Uche. Uche was surprised and shocked to hear this. Then Sunday goes to meet Toyin right where he expected her to be, on the pier. While trying to convince Toyin to come home and not worry about him, that he is just a guy, she will eventually get over him. More so, she is about to be a mother. Toyin then broke the news to Sunday that her mood is not about Sunday, but because she is dying. What? What are you talking about? Sunday asked. Toyin then says she has cancer, a stage 3 cervical cancer. Sunday immediately and passionately hugs her. At home, Sunday consoles Toyin, tells her not to worry about it because stage 3 is not a death sentence. And he tells her how he watched his own mother die of cancer at age 10. Toyin says she has given up. She has no will to live anymore because she doesn't get to enjoy what other people have. Child, husband, and not even a life. Sunday then promised her that he will be with her until the very end and she is going to survive. She need not worry. Later, Uche tried calling Sunday but could not get through. She kept trying when our dear sugar daddy enters the scene. Just then, Sunday calls Uche that they need to talk about Toyin. Seeing Mr. Sam, Uche quickly asks Sunday an important question so that she can know how to respond and treat Mr. Sam that night. She asked if Sunday was serious about what he said to her at the club the other night. Sunday says yes, he is serious. He truly loves her. That gave Uche the impetus to tell Mr. Sam that she is no longer interested in the quid pro quo business format they are into. She is tired of the you do for me, I do for you relationship. This got Mr. Sam very angry and he threatened to collect everything he has ever bought for her, including every penny of his money he spent on her, from her house down to her pants and bra. He even calls her a cheap harlot that belongs in the streets. At that moment, Toyin walks in, rescuing Uche from those hurtful words. Mr. Sam left, but while leaving, he told Uche to think very well about her choice. It is either him or he gets all his money back. Even as she is crying, Uche was excited enough to tell Toyin about Sunday when Toyin broke her own news first. She tells Uche she has a stage 3 cervical cancer. Uche promised to also stay with her. Toyin says she has someone who has also made that promise of staying with her. She then tells Uche the second news, that the guy she is seeing is Sunday. She begins to narrate how much she loves him and how she believes he will be by her, he will stand by her. Uche begins to cry, but hides her pain behind her initial tears. The next day, Uche barged into Sunday's office while he was at a meeting, insulting him. Sunday quickly calms her down that truly he loves her, but he cannot find it within himself to tell Toyin because of her health. Uche kinds of understand, but this is not something easy for her to just brush off, so we understand how she felt. For the next few weeks, Sunday and Uche stood by Toyin, supporting her physically and emotionally. Uche also goes with her for her chemotherapy. They both prove to be there for her while pretending there is nothing between them both. One day, after throwing up, thinking it is the effect of the chemotherapy treatment, Toyin decided to go for a pregnancy test. She then finds out she is pregnant. At this time, Sunday was with Uche at her gallery having sex. The doctor tells Toyin she can no longer continue with the cancer treatment because it is dangerous for the baby. Toyin says she has wanted a child for so long and now she finally has the opportunity to have one with a man that she loves. After the call, she gets into her car and we see her driving. After having sex, Uche then tells Sunday that although they truly love each other, they can never have sex again. They have to be there for Toyin. That night, Toyin invited them both for a dinner. At the dinner, she went on to tell them that she can no longer continue with the cancer treatment. They both advised her not to stop, that it will mean suicide. Then she broke the news. She is pregnant. Sunday and Uche got the shock they were not expecting. She then asked them to please support her. They promised that they will. Months passed and the pregnancy grows. She and Sunday then goes on a holiday to South Africa. Uche gets a huge business offer for her art. One night, while writing down a note, Toyin falls down and was rushed to the hospital. The doctor says they need to operate and get the baby out as soon as possible. Toyin says no, not until Uche arrives from Nigeria. By then, Uche was already at the airport. After she arrives at the hospital, a report was given to Uche and Sunday. Toyin is dead. We were shown a flashback of how Uche's mother accepted her the very first day she met her. Then a voiceover of what Toyin was writing the night before she falls began to play. In it, she apologized for stealing their love from them. She says she saw them at the gallery that day having sex, but she decided not to say anything about it. She begged them to please take care of her daughter and love the child just like they loved her. The movie ends with Uche, Sunday, and the baby going out on what probably might be Toyin's funeral because they were all on black. The movie concludes by showing us Toyin's favorite place, the pier. This movie, A Sunday Affair, deserves all the hype it gets. The ending truly is a sad one, which avid movie lovers would have seen coming though. It is a perfect Valentine gift from Abudu to lovers like yourself, not a single Pringle like us. Although there were a few plot holes here and there, but it is passable. If you can enjoy the potholes on Nigerian roads, then you can definitely overlook this one. So, what do you think about the movie, especially Toyin's death? Is it a good way of concluding this story? Let's hear your opinion in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, I am Sam, and this is the Film Village.